creating good, healthy relationship in marriages.
Yeah. Yes. I believe my mission is to help even just one wife to
Yeah.
see that her identity, I know it shifts after the I do, but like there's so much more. And
Oh,
like, one, it's always hard to choose the spouse, right? So once you
yeah.
like find him and you marry him, you're like already a good
Then what?
version of yourself. But then you
Right.
you get to, the marriage, and then like there's no real book to be like guided, like, oh, read
Yeah.
this, page 55 is gonna tell you how to do this and that, like.
Yes.
And we get caught up with our we're not just the mom or wife, and there's so much more that you could pour out and pour into yourself. So I
Yes.
believe that marriage doesn't have to be all about sacrificing. Yes, you still have to
Absolutely.
sacrifice, but not you don't have to sacrifice everything,
Right.
especially spending even 10 minutes to yourself or
Right.
going to Target by yourself. Like those things
Yeah.
should be it should be a possibility for you for sure.
Exactly. Because it's like there's so much sacrifice that we already do for everyone around us. And it could be your spouse, it could be your your responsibilities, the things that your
Yes.
kids need, your siblings, your extended family, your neighbors. There's so much that we give to other people, but do we take the time to give to ourselves?
Yeah, and it always will start with you, right? If
Yes.
you're if you pour into yourself, you show up better. You
Right.
show up more authentic to yourself.
Yeah.
Especially when you pour into yourself for sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
So what do you do? Tell
exactly.
me more.
Yeah, well, I'm a nurse by trade,
Okay,
but
cool.
also, yeah, but my passion has always been helping others just through life, assessing how you're growing as an individual in this life, right? Because you're not going
Mhm.
to be the same person that you were in your 20s, or maybe in your 20s, that's when you met your spouse. Speaking for me,
Yeah.
myself personally, we've been married 24 years, but together for 26 years. So I understand. It's like,
Wow.
and to be able to see all the seasons of growth that you have to go through, and not every season's perfect, right? It's like,
Yeah. But you
and
grow
to grow and
and
rediscover
evolve.
yourself. Yes.
Yeah.
Because to your point, it's like you're still two individuals in the marriage, right? It's
Yes.
like you're
Yes.
uniting on so many things, but the thing that brought you together in the first place is your individual self. So, I think it's important, the work that you're doing, very similar to the work that I'm doing. My goal is to just really help to share this light, because so many women, so many people are in a state of darkness, or maybe they're not
Yeah.
completely in that darkness, but they're on the path to that darkness, right? And the first thing
Yeah.
that happens is there becomes some sort of awakening in your life, and you're just like, you're feeling like you're in a rut, or maybe I need to start working out, or maybe I need to, oh, I see this like Instagram commercial about this new, supplement I can take, and people are always
Yeah.
grasping for different things that they think is going to make them feel better, but we by nature, we have that power within, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. I definitely believe your power is already there.
Yes,
So that's so
yes.
true.
And I think what I'm really excited about is I learn so much from so many different people, and I think we're reflections of each other's light. And so the more that I engage with other people on this journey, what I realize is like we have so much more light to give. And when we give our light, it reflects back to us. And you feel
Yeah.
this sense of belonging. And it's just so refreshing. It's like a supernatural feeling of,
Yeah, and sometimes it only comes with community, right? When you
yes,
connect with other ones. I don't think we're made to be by ourselves anyways,
no,
or
exactly.
do life by ourselves.
Exactly, yeah. And these conversations is like that's the first step.
Yeah.
Um, And so I think, like, for me personally, I've been really enjoying, because I just moved to the Houston area. So for me,
Welcome.
thank you. So it was necessary for me to find community, but be very selective with the community that I'm finding, right? Like, you
True.
don't want to find community in spaces where you have to kind of fit in.
Mhm.
That's where you're just not being your authentic self, and your life is too short to try to fit into those spaces. And all that does is it just depletes your energy and your light. I think there's definitely a need for us to help people that
Yeah.
need to try to we need to try to pull them out of some of those spaces that feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
um, but really just trying to be that beacon of light
Yeah.
as best as
I love how
possible.
you said I moved here, but I just don't want to just fit into any community. Like you
Right.
want to be intentional of how you're
Yes.
spending your time with who you're spending
Yes.
your time with. So that's
Right.
beautiful. And that's very
Yeah.
self-aware of like,
Totally.
hey, I just don't want to just do it because I want to say I'm in this community more than,
Yeah.
that's important. So that's good.
Yeah,
Super awesome.
it has to feel right, because otherwise you're going to find yourself feeling exhausted,
Yeah, no, I
and
agree.
I'm really happy about a lot of the people that I've met so far. It's really exciting to see that people like you are doing things to help other people, help community.
Yeah.
Because that's really where it's at. It's like you can read a million books, but there's nothing that is going to fulfill you the same way as connecting with another human that understands, another person that gets it, right?
Yeah, I love that. It's so true. And your
Yeah.
first coach will always be a book or a broadcast
Yeah,
because that's
exactly.
how you start expanding and you're like curious and it builds that
Yes.
curiosity to
Yep. Yeah.
develop new skills or more self-awareness more than anything. So
Yeah.
that's so
Yeah.
true. I love that.
And that's why I started my
So
podcast,
what
because the things that I learn or that I come across or the people I talk to, it's like we're not meant to just gatekeep and hold things, right? And hold
yeah.
information. Like, I'm the type of person that wants to share. I'm always the person in my circle that's like, hey, have you heard of this? This is so awesome. This is why this is so great. And and sometimes what's fulfilling is when someone comes back to me and like, remember that time you told me X, Y, and Z? Well, I tried it and this is what happened. And that's just so exciting, because otherwise it's like, if we don't share information, it's like we're never going to grow. So that's kind
Yeah.
of what my podcast is about too. It's being able to, you know, deliver as much helpful information to help people on this self improvement journey.
What made you start your podcast? What
Honestly, I've had interactions and conversations and developed relationships with so many people, both professionally but also personally. And I've always found myself in this space of helping other people. I mean, obviously, I went into nursing because I naturally felt that passion and that desire to help people heal. Um, but I thrive in my professional space, and I was like, my personal life, I want to be able to deliver this in a way that anybody can benefit from. And like you said,
yeah.
podcasts or books, I mean, podcasts are free. So it's like, if you can provide something that's readily available to anybody, no matter where they are in this world, like, you know, who needs to
That's
pay for
beautiful.
another service? Or like, sometimes it's just, gaining the information in the easiest possible way, which is then possibly the gateway, hence gateway hug. My tagline is, if love is a drug, this is your gateway hug, because this is intentionally trying to be a supportive hug for whoever's out there in the audience that needs support.
Yeah.
Maybe they're stuck. I mean, I think about all the women that are in either a marriage or a household where they're stuck and they're just going through the day-to-day routine and feeling emotionally and physically exhausted from whatever it is that they're responsible for. I've been there, and I can definitely tell my story, and that it can be very lonely. It's very self-sacrificing, and you really have to you really have to figure out how to support yourself in order to get out of that, type of routine, because a lot of it is routine. You obviously, you have to wake up at a certain time, you have to do,
Uh,
everything on the checklist, and you got to be at
yeah.
work, you got to make sure dinner's done, you got to make sure the kids are good. I mean, that's just life's checklist.
Yeah. And just that's
And
when
where do you fit
joy is
yourself in?
important.
Yeah, where do
Yeah.
you fit yourself in on that checklist? And how often do you show up on that checklist for yourself?
I love that. How often do you check yourself in the checklist, right? Like
Yes.
it's
Yeah.
not, you just put it and you're not doing nothing about it though. You're
Yeah,
just like, yeah, I'll
exactly.
make some time, but I never cross it
Right.
out because I just never get
Yeah.
to it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's so important. And then making sure that whatever's on that checklist is non-negotiable.
Ooh.
What I've done is, like, I've been adding things to my calendar so that it's like, just like if you have a dentist appointment, or if you have an appointment to go somewhere that you have to pay for a movie ticket and you have to be there for that movie showing, right? It's like you kind of have to intentionally schedule those times to prioritize yourself. And it could be as simple as adding something on your calendar. Tell me about all your success, and what it sounds like you have an amazing passion and mission, and yeah, tell me a little bit about that.
So I honestly will say I've been always wanting to do this, but I just would brush it off, or I would just help my friends. And
Mm-hmm.
like, even in high school, it was like I was the go-to
Yep.
person when they would break up with their boyfriends, and it all felt lovely. I didn't think it was nothing. I just thought like, oh, they just trust me enough. And
Mm-hmm.
so like life kept going and it would always come up and I'd be like, no, that's not for me, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so then I start when I became a mom, I felt like there was a bigger nudge. Like the first kid was definitely the one who was like, no, I could still like be a boss, like work corporate
Mm-hmm.
America and like still be a mom and a wife and
Yes.
like that was my identity, right?
Yes.
And then I had my second baby and it was a different shift. It was
Mm.
like the soft side, the you know what, like what is really gonna bring more joy to me? Like,
Yeah.
yes, I do like a lot of things at work to like
Yeah.
build community and stuff, but
Yeah.
I definitely felt like there was a piece missing. So then I
Mm-hmm.
started like looking up group coaching and then I signed up and I've done workshops messy, like not knowing what the hell I was going to talk about, just wanting to
Yeah.
do something for others.
Yes.
And it just started like that, like just taking action.
And that's,
And
I love how you said that it kept coming up, because for me, I think that's our calling, right? It's like there's this inner voice speaking to us. It's this light that is coming from our higher power, whatever it is that you believe in. And I think it's important that you listen to it and take time to have some silence and some quiet time to really drown out all the noise and all the responsibilities, to like
yeah,
listen, what is it that actually brings me purpose? And so it it always starts off, I would say it doesn't have to be necessarily messy. Like, I think just putting that energy out there is motion.
that's true.
So
Very true.
doesn't matter how it looks like, as if you're not hurting anybody, if you're not
Yeah.
breaking anything, then it's not messy. You know what I mean? It's like if
Yeah,
if you're intentionally putting something together and using your creative energy to get there to help people, then that's as perfect as it needs to be for that moment in time.
absolutely. So
Yeah.
yeah, and then after getting coached a couple of times, different group coaching, I kind of
Yeah.
felt like, okay, I could do this. And so
Yeah.
I just tapped into it and I've loved it so far. I
Good for
definitely will say
you.
the favorite part is like the before and after,
Yeah.
the results, right? But
Hmm.
like even in the middle of it, how it's happening and you can
Yeah.
see it,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
sometimes when you're in it, you don't see it, but then like
Right.
someone else is like seeing it and they
Hmm.
see the transition, the transformation happening.
Yeah.
So it's lovely and it's really beautiful to see how, someone invests in themselves and like they want more and they just don't know how to
Yeah.
get there and they're like, okay, how do you can
Yeah.
you help me? So
And
yeah,
sometimes that's all it
um
takes is to just
raising
have
your hand.
somebody, yeah, have somebody along the way, on the journey with you to just be there. I mean, they don't have to do the work for you,
Yep.
but just have somebody that can uplift you, make you feel encouraged to the point where you gain your own self-confidence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it sometimes it's just this one pep talk that you need to hear, one
Yeah.
specific something that you're like missing. You're like, you're
Yeah.
right. I am and I can,
Yes.
that kind of feeling.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so my ideal goal is to host like an in-person event
Hmm.
this year.
Yeah.
That is like expanding and stretching myself, but I think I could do it.
Okay.
It's just
Yeah. Just
getting to that point of like
believe
just
it and do
on a
it.
bad
Yeah,
day.
just believe it and do it. And
Yeah,
lean on your support system and other women in the community,
yeah,
so that we
so
can
true.
we can help,
Yeah, so that's the goal. But yeah, it's been lovely. It's
Good.
been nice. And just thinking like, so I've been in broadcasts, two different broadcasts with two different women.
Hmm.
And even just from the second one, like comparing the first one, like the first one I was so nervous and like didn't even know what to say. The second one I could
Yeah.
see like I felt more comfortable. So
Yeah.
it's also putting yourself out there and getting practice, not
Right.
like, you're not gonna be perfect the first time and it's
Yeah.
okay, and
Exactly.
owning the fact that you're not a professional perfectionist at that very moment and
Exactly.
you're I'm learning kind of vibe, not
Yeah.
just saying like, oh, I know everything. It's like, no, it's
Right.
okay to be in your first stage of doing something
Yeah.
new. So
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. I know for me, I'm like, my podcast is definitely not like what you see with the pros, but the message and the meaning behind what you're doing,
Yeah.
that's what matters, like,
And like you said, like it's such an opportunity for you to be in a lot of houses, a lot of
yes,
like,
yes, in
because
someone's car, and like, I
yes,
think that the thing that's so gratifying for me is that I'll get messages from people that say, like, thank you for what you said. It just validated the thoughts that I've been having. Or someone says, I listened to you on the way to work. And like, it's like the little things like that.
that's so beautiful.
And it
Yeah.
really resonated with me because it's just like, who cares about the likes? Who cares about how many
Yeah.
people follow? And like, all that stuff is, I mean, some people pay for followers, and it's just, it's
Yeah.
just like, not like, I never want to be that person that is validated based on the popularity contest.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
That's
whoever,
important.
yes, whoever has a taste for your dish,
Absolutely.
they're going to come and buy it. They're going to come and eat it, and it's going to fulfill and feed their soul. So, at the end of the day, like, that's what's important. And I'm really proud of you for, like, even thinking about your stretch goal this year.
Yeah. Do you have any goals to accomplish this year besides moving to Texas?
Well, the goal was to start the podcast. So I'm
Okay,
on, I think, episode 6 so far. So my
good.
thing is just like, I just really want to grow the audience and get all of my information out there,
That's beautiful.
and be able to, connect with people like you so that other people that listen to the podcast can say, hey, I heard about this podcast and this other person was on there,
Yeah,
and I think I can benefit from what she's doing.
yeah, that's
So I
beautiful.
want to be the gateway so
Yeah,
that people can find you through me and vice
yeah.
versa.
I
Um,
love that. That would be so beautiful.
how can I help
Absolutely.
you?
I think you're helping me by just like liking and like sharing like this resonates is super
Yeah.
helpful because especially when you're creating content, you're like, does this align?
Yeah.
Does someone see themselves in this content or is
Hmm.
it just me making stuff up?
Yeah, I
So
mean, you
yeah,
never know. You never know. Like, we're meant to be creative. Like, and I
yeah,
and I think that our light and our ability, it it translates in the way that we're able to be creative.
yeah, that's
um,
true.
right? So, like,
Yeah,
never second guess, is this good enough? Does this matter? Because of course it
yeah,
matters. It's
yeah,
gonna help somebody, even if it helps
absolutely.
one person. Just remember that.
Yeah, and that's really what matters the most. Like sometimes, especially like going back to you mentioning how some people are stuck or they feel
Yeah.
stuck. And
Hmm.
like, what if there's just one message that just really like
Yeah,
awakened something in them to
exactly.
say, like, this is enough. Like, I gotta
Yeah,
move past this.
it can be the one spark that changes
Yeah.
somebody's trajectory of where they go in life. And I've
Yes.
had that happen so many times with the people that
That's
I
awesome.
didn't officially coach them, but like you said, I've been the person that they've gone to say, "Hey, I'm really struggling this and that." And I think, like, one of my gifts and talents is that I'm able to see through, like, just, the forest beyond the trees.
Yeah.
I'm able to see what solution and what pathway is the best for people even when they don't see it themselves. So being able to just talk to people and, like, help them, like, have you tried this? Have you thought about this? And really help them organize their thoughts. Because I think one thing that I've recognized is that when you're stuck, it's hard to process those thoughts
Mm.
because you're you're essentially behind this fog. This Things are just not clear. And some of that is the fight or flight response. You're stuck in this fight or flight mode, and it's just like your brain is not going to let allow you to see things clearly when you're in that state of mind.
Yeah.
So it's beautiful to be able to help people through that, and then once that is all lifted, and their parasympathetic nervous system kicks in and they're a lot more relaxed and the water is calm and still, then they're able to kind of revisit some of the conversation we have, and then they make a choice, and that's so beautiful.
That
It's
making that
beautiful to
decision
see
is the
that.
hard part sometimes,
Yes,
right? Like,
yeah, exactly.
and and it doesn't mean like you make a bad decision. Just make a decision.
Right.
Because once you make that decision,
Yes.
you're moving forward.
Yep,
Yeah,
exactly. And
absolutely.
and you just stick with it, you know. Stick with the decision
Yeah,
that you make. And
that's a good point.
it's okay to change your mind, but, like, don't let other people and negative influences and their emotional influences
Ooh,
dictate
so true.
dictate
Yeah.
your decision. Because I think that happens a lot, especially in relationships where people want the best for you,
Hmm.
but they're taking into consideration how they feel about your situation rather than what you feel about the situation, and they're not going to value whatever it is you're going through because the reality is they don't know it all. They don't know all of the details and the things um, that you value most.
Yes.
It's hard to
And
describe that.
sometimes And it's based on your experience too,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
if you've had a harsh childhood, you
Hmm.
might have a different perspective of certain
Yes,
things, So yeah,
exactly.
it makes a big difference for sure. And then hopefully we catch coffee in real life.
Nice
Take
to
care.
meet
Thank you
you.
so
Thanks,
much.
Nancy.